Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to do my Formulating with Confidence monthly webinar. It's the time that I get to talk to you guys and we get to connect over the amazing ability to prescribe for our patients and personalize for our patients. Let me get going with the beginning screen here. And we're going to have a great talk tonight. It's always amazing getting to chat with you guys in this way. And oh, hey, Courtney. Hey, Kylie. I can see some people here, which is always nice. I'm going to keep the Q&A open so we can have an open discussion tonight. I'd like to be on camera, but for some reason that's not happening, but that's how live webinars are. We always just have to roll with the punches. Oh, it's too bad. I'd love seeing you guys' faces. Okay, so the Q&A, I do have it open. So if you guys want to pop in where you're coming from, or if you have any questions for me as we go through this webinar, I am more than happy to do so. It's 8 o'clock now, so we'll get started. So this is our Personalizing with Confidence webinar, using your clinical expertise to create beautiful, genius, custom products. Some of us are new to this, some of us are already doing this, so it's always a good mix, and we usually have a good discussion about what's going on for our patients. So tonight we have a special focus on what to do when lab results come back normal. And usually what I do is I pick topics that I have spoken to practitioners about over the course of this month. So I talk to about probably 30 practitioners a month, oftentimes multiple conversations. So I really try to pick topics that are relevant to us. So we're going to start with why tonight, the art and science of formulating. So why are we introducing a new workflow into our practice? Why are we taking the time to personalize? I'm going to make the case for you tonight. We're going to talk about O and patients. These are the patients that you can quickly recognize when you should formulate. As soon as these people are talking about, oh, and I have this going on, it'll click for you and you'll know that you are going to formulate something special for them. I'm going to show you the easy way to formulate. And tonight I'm going to show you how to formulate literally in 2 minutes. It's going to be so easy, it'll shock you. And we're going to talk about delightful prescribing, how to amaze your patients and build your brand. Hey, I'm Dr. Lydia. I am a naturopath. I've been a naturopath for 13 years, a really long time. And I'm an account manager here and I do education, which means I talk to you guys a lot. I talk to our doctors at least once a day. I'm on the line with the doctor, oftentimes more. I like to get to know you guys. I like to understand your practice. And it's been really, really fascinating for me over this past about 8 months or so working with Vitamin Lab. I am still in private practice. And before working with Vitamin Lab, I was in private practice as well, as I said, for 13 years. So I've seen a lot of supplements come and go over those years, the wild and wacky world of nutraceuticals. And again, the Q&A is open. If you guys have any questions, just pop them in the chat. Always happy to answer. Okay, so we're starting with why. Why are we doing this? Why are we formulating? Why would we introduce something new into our practice? We're all going to have our own reasons, but let's talk about it. So, and I want this to really, again, we're relating this to what happens when we get patient results that come back normal. And this is really a niche I feel like functional medicine providers have, because all of us, whether you're a nurse practitioner, physician assistant, pharmacist, medical doctors, we all have this in common. If you're in the functional medicine space, you have patients that come to you and they are frustrated as all heck because they've been told everything's normal, but they literally wake up every day feeling like crap, whether it's their digestion is off, they're constipated, they're having diarrhea, they have acne, their hair is falling out, they can't get their blood pressure down, their cholesterol's through the roof, and doctors will run tests and there's no root cause provided to them. Or maybe they've been told that things are normal. A lot of our GI patients will get investigated and be told that everything's quote unquote normal, but they know that things aren't normal. It's very much a gaslighting type of situation when your doctor tells you everything looks great on your results and you literally feel like crap. And what do? Is they often come and find their functional medicine provider because we listen to them and we do advanced and cool things. Let's be honest, we're awesome. And another thing we all have in common is that we are optimizing patient experience. So I am in Canada, where we have a healthcare system that people, quote unquote, do not feel like they have to pay for. So therefore, when they come to me and they are paying out of pocket for something, even if it's insurance, and a lot of the doctors that I work with in the US, you're not taking insurance. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it's a different experience when people are paying for things. We don't get to have a bad day. We pretty much need to come in and be on point and have a smile on our face and be offering excellent care. I see somebody saying they're a muscle tester, building a virtual practice. How do I dose, especially for those who are increased need with their DNA testing? I'm going to come back to that, Margaret, because that's a very specific question. So sorry, you'll have to wait to the end for that one. Okay, so we're optimizing our patient experience. We all have to do this. Okay, I also want to talk to you guys about the supplement industry, because this is another reason why it's very important to personalize. So I kind of like to look at the supplement industry as a whole on behalf of the doctors and practitioners that I work with, because I just like to keep my finger on the pulse for us, shall we say. So this is where our patients are buying products. Grocery stores and online retailers. Hello, Amazon, Whole Foods, even Walmart right now sells supplements. Like when I first started practicing 13 years ago or so, there were certain brands that you could only find at practitioners' offices. That is no longer the case. And people want to buy their fish oil at Costco when they're buying their muffins or whatever the case may be. They're at Walmart for the toilet paper, and they'll pick up their digestive enzyme. So the big retailers have figured out that this is a lucrative industry. They're stocking their shelves with supplements, and we are now in competition with Target and Walgreens and all those other companies. Chain vitamin and health food stores, when I looked at the research on how they're doing, it's not good. Their businesses are fairly stressed. I think most of us have seen some of our favorite health food stores maybe go under, unfortunately. Although, there still are a few core ones that do well. There's very much a decline in sales here, but there is a demand for personalized supplementation. And this is where I want all of us to be. This is where we all are. So this is where we need to be, because there is patient demand here, and we certainly do not need to be competing with Whole Foods and Amazon, because that's just really a race to the bottom in terms of price. And you're not going to build a dispensary like that. So let's just live in this wonderful world over here in personalized supplementation, which is why we're here tonight. Yay. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this. I'm going to dive into supplements, just a couple slides here. Okay, so when I first did this, I've been doing this presentation for every month. I update it, but I've been doing this since June, basically. So what will happen is you have your online store and you prescribe a supplement for a patient. You had better believe that a lot of your patients are going to flip over to Amazon and see what's going over there. If they can get the product faster, in this case, it was out of stock and you needed to wait 46 days in order to get this. And any of us that treat people with digestive problems, they want to feel better like yesterday. They're certainly not waiting 46 days. That is never, ever happening. They're going to pop their little web browser open and they're going to Google that product. And if they find it, and it can be delivered 6 hours and 54 minutes later, they are ordering it on Amazon. Even if it costs a little bit more, they want it now. And then this sale that you maybe would have made some profit on, well, you're not making that. That's going to Amazon in Amazon's pocket. And it also casts a little bit of doubt in the patient's mind. Like, why would my practitioner have me waiting for something? Like, especially if I can get it like 6 hours from now, they know that we make money on supplements and such, but patients want to feel like we have their best interest in mind, which we do, but we're not scouring Amazon to figure out what the delivery times are. That's just not reasonable. Okay, so and let's talk about another example here, Progesto Mend. So this is a pricing issue. So you go on, so they pop on, they see that you've got Progesto Mend, you're selling it for somewhere between $66 and $73, and then they pop over to Amazon and they see it's a cheaper price over there, and we don't really want our patients to know what kind of profit margin we're making on things. And it just becomes a whole awkward situation. There's 2 stars, people are reviewing these products. Who the heck knows who this one rating was? And now we're at the mercy of Amazon and these different companies. And so I just want you out of the weeds with this, completely out of the weeds, making your own products, branding your own products, and just having your own special thing. Because medicine is not merely a science, but it is an art. Like Paracelsus was saying this in the 15th century. Like our character and the way we can make a patient feel heard and feel special and feel like we're really paying attention to them and we're really present with them. Like that is really powerful stuff. And when you're personalizing, it just gives you that little bit of a leg up because you're doing something that other doctors aren't doing. And in my mind, it is really the pinnacle of prescribing. It's the art of medicine. It's your listening skills, your ability to prioritize, your empathy, and also mixing in the integration of research, interpretation of lab reports, and imaging studies, of course, as well. So when you're formulating, what's amazing about this is that you're in your own lane, okay? You don't have any competition. And even though there's a bunch of you on the webinar tonight, I will tell you, if I've spoken to you, and I speak to about 30 or so doctors a month, every single one of you are different. You are really not competing with each other. Like, even if you have the same niche, you both treat kidney disorders, you'll have your own philosophies about things. So there's no competition when you're formulating. You're in your own lane. It also creates a lot of loyalty because your patient feels like, wow, this doctor really gets me. They make a product for me that I can't find anywhere else. And anytime we also private label, so you can put your own logo on things. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. When you have your own logo on something and your patient picks up that bottle or that pouch, in our case, we do the biodegradable pouches. We're very modern and, in that way, they see your brand every day. You're part of their everyday routine. And that's what I want for you. I want your patients, when they're not feeling well, that you're top of mind. You're the first person that they think of when they need some sort of healthcare advice. And then you can also make money, which is, I love that for us, right? Like, exchanging time for money, it can be quite exhausting if we're totally honest. So it is nice to have an income stream that just comes your way without you having to, because again, think about this, you put all the time into creating this amazing treatment plan, picking out a few products, and then what? Your patient goes over to Amazon and buys the product? Like, that's not fair. We deserve to make the profit on the treatment protocols that we design. It has to be that way. It cannot be any other way. So this is why I love it when we have something unique. I'm very passionate about this. If you can't tell, I feel like I'm getting heated right now. I wish I could be on camera tonight. I really love seeing you guys, but it's just too bad. Okay, so we're talking about O and patience. This is when you quickly recognize when you should formulate, because you're not going to formulate for everybody. You don't have to formulate for everybody. If it's just a single ingredient, they need vitamin D or they need a fish oil, you don't need to formulate that. But there's going to be patients that come in and you're going to say, you know what, there isn't really a product on the market that exactly matches your symptom picture. So this is how you can quickly recognize when you should formulate. Because we've all had these patients. Every single one of us on this line has had this patient. So they come in, they have high blood pressure, their hair's falling out, they have back pain, they have period pain, something like that. And then usually just before they're leaving the visit, usually at the very end when time is running out, they'll say something like, oh, and I wake up with hot flashes every single morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Or, oh, and I'm bloated, I can't eat meat now for some odd reason. Or, oh, and I have terrible anxiety. And so we are there and we have high blood pressure and we have anxiety, or we have hair loss and we have hot flashes, and we have these multi concerns. Because I don't know about you, but I certainly do not get patients that come in with one concern. Like, that is a hallelujah moment. If a patient comes in and they just, I just, my period's a little bit late each month or something, and it's a single concern, like, that is incredible. I don't think many of us have those patients. We always have patients, or often we have patients that have more than one thing going on. And that's where formulating can really make you stand out. They save money. They don't have to buy a whole bunch of different bottles. And you really just seem like a rock star when you can make a product for a patient. Okay, so I always like to do a little case study. And this case study is based on a conversation that I had this month. So obviously names and ages and such details have been changed, but you're going to get the essence of it. So Jim comes into you, and again, super, super common situation. They'll come in, my digestion's a mess. I'm in pain every single day. And it always shocks me how many patients actually have digestive problems every single day. Not every once in a while they ate something funny, they ate something spicy, but every day. They don't know if they're going to have to pull over because they have diarrhea, or they're they poop once every 5 days and they have tummy cramps, or everything's giving them heartburn and stuff. Like there are a lot of people, a shocking number of people that live every day with a hot mess of a digestive tract. And he comes in, he's like, I've had the scopes, the bum scope and the throat scope and all the scopes. I've had celiac testing. I've seen the gastro, and just nothing. They say I'm normal, and that's supposed to be reassuring. But when something is wrong with your body, that is just completely gaslighting, completely frustrating. Like it's almost, sometimes I think we've all had these patients where they're just like, tell me what is wrong with me. Like, I'd rather you tell me something bad is happening than you tell me that nothing is wrong and I'm just going to live like this forever. It's kind of ridiculous to even base, like somebody's coming to you and telling you that they're suffering every day, and you're going to kind of deny them that just because the test came back normal. Like that's not great. And, he says he's stressed out, but he has a family, like our patients, like, yes, we can recommend they do yoga nidra and they do deep breathing and they go to therapy and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, they're not moving to the jungles of Peru and doing an ayahuasca trip to get rid of their PTSD. They're not moving to Costa Rica and sitting on a mountaintop and meditating for 18 hours a day. Like they're living. They're bank managers, they're school principals, they're stay-at-home moms. Like these are real people. And oftentimes we have patients that are trapped in this horrible cycle. They're stressed out, which makes their digestion worse, but then they have this pain that stresses them out too. So they have this real combo of like a physical ailment, and then they have a ton of stress, which just makes it worse. And it's just like a bad merry-go-round that they can't get off, and they're just desperate at our office, like, stop the ride, this isn't fun anymore, let me off. And he comes to us and says, I'm worried I'm not absorbing any nutrients. My wife says I look pale. And we have patients that are just, our patients are so smart. Like my patients come to me and I'm just like, you're such a smart cookie. They come and they want certain tests. They've Googled certain things. Like they're not coming to us ignorant about their condition. Oftentimes they have a lot of thoughts and ideas. And certainly, a married man, often his wife has a lot of thoughts and ideas, right? Sometimes that's how they ended up at our office. So okay, so very reasonably, and this is a real case, and these are actually the real results that were shared with me. Obviously, the names are going to be removed and such, but we did a cellular nutrition assay. So this is from Cell Science Systems. I don't know how many of you are using these micronutrient tests, but Vitamin Lab has a direct integration where you can run the test and then you can formulate a product really easily based on the micronutrients they're missing. Only in this case, we expected to see micronutrients were missing, but he was fine. He was fine. Look at all these greens. He's pretty much in the green. He's got a couple little borderline things, but correcting this boron is certainly not going to fix his digestive tract. Same with the histidine. Like it's not, because it's borderline. It's just not that bad. He increases his protein intake, maybe gets a little bit more organic green leafies, and he's correcting his micronutrients. But if we formulated a product based on these results, it would be kind of an epic fail. He's not going to feel any better. He's going to have spent X number of dollars on the test and X number of dollars on his Vitamin Lab product, and he's going to be dissatisfied. And I don't want that for any of us. It's more important to me. I would rather you not prescribe a Vitamin Lab product, don't use us, if it's not going to move the needle for your patient. We're just not in the business of that. So what I'm going to show you tonight is how you can easily formulate for Jim, even when his results come back normal. Because I am of the mind, and I understand this isn't the best grammar, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If I get results back and it says that things are fine, I'm certainly not going to overanalyze and try to stretch the results and try to find problems when things come back and they look good. It's not real and it's not honest. So I'm not going to fix something that isn't broken. And instead of gaslighting the patient and telling them that you're totally fine, nothing's wrong with you, like I'm not going to do that. I'm going to seize a golden opportunity, absolutely golden opportunity. It just falls in your lap when results are fine. It's your opportunity to affirm your patient, because there's a core belief that I actually think this is a core belief that most of humanity kind of feels, but the core belief is there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. And probably most of us have struggled with this thought, like maybe even today, for example, but like when our patients are chronically ill and they're told that everything's fine, inside they develop this belief, there's something wrong with me. And it's such a disempowering place to be. And it's so scary for the patient. If they're really honest, it's quite scary and it's quite sad. And you just feel that you develop this sort of shame response. Like, how many of our patients aren't feeling well, and then on top of it, they feel ashamed about not feeling well? Like, dear, my goodness, if we can help them with this, like, let's do it. So let's affirm our patient. And this is how I affirm my patient. You can take this with a grain of salt if you'd like to, but I try to get through this core belief by telling them you're having a natural reaction to an unnatural environment, because it is very normal for you to have digestive concerns and stress and anxiety when you're worried about your bills and you don't have financial literacy, when you have little children that are struggling or not struggling or just giving you a hard time. Let's be honest, being a parent is very difficult. We do not send our kids out to play all day in the neighborhood. Okay, you're driving to soccer practice, you're taking them to tutoring if they're behind in their reading, you're doing your sleep training and all, doing the most. We have a lot of people working in corporate environments that make them feel like they're about this big, they're getting laid off, they feel just dispensable. They have insecure bosses with all kinds of ego issues, and they're working in these environments. They're eating a whole bunch of crap because they don't have time to cook, or they don't like to cook, or whatever's happening. We have patients, I live in kind of a commuter community. I'm shocked at the amount of time that people spend in cars in high traffic situations, commuting an hour and a half a day, or we're in relationships where they're not bad, they're not terrible and abusive, but they're not awesome either. Maybe you have a partner that shuts down and gives you the cold shoulder and doesn't really talk to you when they're upset about something, and you're trying to guess what's going on with them. These are common things. These are not wildly stressful things. This is like an average person deals with this stuff. So you're having a natural reaction to an unnatural environment. It doesn't mean that you have so let's treat this. Let's help you interface with your environment in a more easygoing type of way. So let's talk about the easy way to formulate, because this is just a mindset you can have when you don't have testing. Because testing, yes, it makes it very easy. You can pop in a cool little sleek formula, and you can formulate based on micronutrient deficiencies. But what if the patient doesn't have micronutrient deficiencies? You don't want to make them a weak product that's just kind of working on borderline things when they're coming in with real issues that are stressing them the heck out. Okay, so I don't know how many of you have been to a Chinese herbalist, but really this concept has come from herbalism. I studied Chinese medicine in school. So, and I don't know if you've ever been to China. It's a very cool experience going to a Chinese herbalist. If you haven't been before, it's very, very neat. So when they combine and when they're doing their prescribing, they use an emperor minister assistant guide formula. So what I look at is, okay, I'm starting with the emperor. I like a move the needle target. What is going to help this person wake up in the morning and feel like something has shifted? I feel better, because that's really what I care about. I'm a very results oriented practitioner. I think probably many of us are, and people are impatient and they want to feel better sooner than later, and they deserve that, quite frankly. So I'm always thinking, what will help this person feel better? And then we have supportive ingredients, which are really the O and. So how can I address a secondary concern? In Jim, it's probably the fact that he's got awful digestion and he's stressed the heck out. So that's easy. We can easily create something, and I'm going to show you how. It's going to be so easy. And we can also, if you want to get like a little bit more advanced prescribing, we can do anticipatory support. Maybe you know that they don't methylate well. Fine. We can add in some SAMe or something along those lines. And then also some of our patients, they're just weaker in the way nutrients are delivered in their body, or maybe their liver pathways aren't as strong, and you can just tell they're constipated and they just get, they have fatty liver disease or something like that. So we can help them with weak pathways. But even if you just do these two things, you look for a move the needle target, and then you add some supportive ingredients, you're going to create something that they cannot find anywhere else. It's going to feel like a totally special, unique product just for them. Okay, so we're talking about Jim. We're going to formulate for Jim. He's stressed out. He's in pain every day. And the medical system has told him, you're fine. You don't have celiac, and you've had your colonoscopy. It's fine. You're good. He's not good. Okay, so we're looking at these ingredients. Okay, so let's formulate for Jim. I'm going to pop over to our Vitamin Lab portal. Okay, I don't know. Probably most of you have seen the portal. So we're going to create a formula for Jim. Okay, let's edit that formula for Jim. And I'll just review this. So we have different supply lengths, anywhere from 60 days to 6 months. You can choose if you'd like a refill. We'll put into auto production. So this is a hands-off kind of thing for you. And we can decide if we want veggie capsules or powders. We do have the option there as well. We'll just use capsules for this case. Okay, so when somebody comes in and you have limited time and you need to formulate something special for them, this is what you're going to do. You're going to find a protocol. And there's two types of protocols. There's protocols that we've built, Vitamin Lab has built, and there's protocols that you've built. You are going to build your protocols too. And I'm going to encourage each and every one of you on this. You're going to have a few protocols in your back pocket so that when people come in and all the results are fine, you still have things to do with them. And it's not like you have to sit there and reinvent the wheel and spend 45 minutes searching through PubMed and trying to figure out what's going on. You don't have to do that, okay? So we have protocols. And there's going to be two ways to do this. So I created a stress and gut protocol. So, because I know these two things go together. This is like peanut butter and jelly right here. Like you have one of these, you'll probably use it at least once a week. So I could add in my stress and gut protocol. Okay, so right there, we have a little magnesium, a little ashwagandha, lemon balm. So these are just things that I know work together to soothe the nervous system, soothe the GI tract. And right there, we have a product. This is actually quite a unique product. You're not going to find this on the market. And I've Googled this, and I'll show you in the end what it looks like when you search on Amazon for something like this. It's a hot mess. So right here, we can calculate price and add that to cart, and we can sell this to Jim. And that took me all of 2 seconds. Now, I get it. It takes some time to make these protocols, but you could probably sit down in an hour and come up with 6 protocols because you're just basing it off of the products you already like, already. Now, okay, you don't say you don't have any protocols. Say you haven't made a protocol. Fine. Vitamin Lab, we have a whole bunch of protocols for you because we love you. We will make protocols. I think we should probably try to make them once a month, but we have tons of good protocols. So you come in here, we have Vitamin Lab GI Repair. Okay, let's add that. Okay, so we've got the GI tract under control. And then we have a mood boost. This is actually quite a calming formula. So it's boosting, but it's also quite soothing for the nervous system. And you could add that in there. So it's got the 5-HTP for serotonin support, important for digestion. It's got the GABA, which, when it accesses the central nervous system, it will tell you to chill out and calm down. We have our methyl factors in here. We have a little bit of saffron extra. Saffron is actually a very cool herb. If anybody's on an SSRI, it really helps with the sexual side effects. So you have any patients on an antidepressant and the sex life has gone downhill, try a little saffron. So even right here, how long did that take me? That probably took me like 30 seconds to do that. So we have a GI repair, and you can make you don't have to use our protocols, but we have them here for you, and they're well researched. So right here, you have a protocol or a formula for Jim, and that only took you 2 seconds, and it's something that he can't find anywhere else, and it shows you were listening to him. I get it, bud. Like your stomach is not good. Like despite what the results say, you're normal. Like, you know what? Kudos to you. You're not in micronutrient deficiency. It hasn't gotten that bad. So let's make our patients feel good about something because they literally feel like there's something's wrong with them. Let's affirm them. We get it. You're not feeling well, but I'm not going to fix it if it ain't broken. So let's give some GI repair. Let's give you something soothing for the digestive tract. I love marshmallow root for that. It's such a nice demulcent being a herb that coats and soothes the digestive tract. And then you give them a little bit of mood boost. And we know GI stuff and mood, like what a beautiful combination this is. 3 capsules a day. You have your monthly retail price if you want to sell it to him like that, or you have your wholesale cost, you resell it to him for the 90-day supply, right? So that was just such a simple thing to do, and you can create your own protocols. Okay, let's go back. So that's it. That's formulating. I can't really imagine an easier process. So you can go through our protocols if you'd like to, and I'm here to help you make protocols as well. So you will have an account manager, whether it's me or Carolina, and we will sit with you. We will spend time. You tell me what products you like or products you're using. I will help you build out protocols so that you don't have to be your patient sitting right there. You don't have to be in a panic trying to put things together, when you don't have time to do so. You just bam, click your 2 protocols, combine them together, and off you go. You're off to the races, and you look like a genius rock star doctor. Okay, so the question is, what are your core formulas? And I'll tell you, there's probably about 6 that the vast majority of functional medicine practices will need. You'll need probably an insomnia product. Like we know our patients don't sleep well. And converse to that, you need a daytime anxiety product, something that'll tone the parasympathetic nervous system without putting your patient to sleep. You need probably an immunity product of some sort. It could be a short-term immunity product with like echinacea and hydrastis and things like that, or it could be a long-term one, more so with your Chinese mushrooms and your astragalus. So you have something like that. You're going to need some sort of digestive product with the enzymes and with your demulcent herbs and with your glutamine. You're going to need something like that. Maybe you add in a little liver support. Maybe you're one of the doctors that really likes having a little artichoke and a little milk thistle in there to help with liver detoxification. You're probably going to need some form of male or female balancing hormone product with your broccoli extract and your indole 3-carbinol and your calcium D-glucuronate. So you'll have a product like that that's ready to go. And then have a longevity product. Have your NMN and your coenzyme Q10 and your reishi mushrooms and your maca. Create a product like that. And again, I can help you do this. Like if you're like, Lydia, I don't know any of these herbs, because some practitioners, they know nutrients, but they just don't know herbs. And that's totally fine. We could have a conversation about that too. But if you have these 6 products, All you do is you mix and you match. So you have a patient who's got weak immunity. Maybe they're a kindergarten teacher and they're bombarded with all these little snotty little kids, and maybe they don't sleep well because they're a first-year kindergarten teacher and they're stressed out and they don't have their lesson plans in order or something like that. Okay, so we're going to do a sleep product mixed with an immunity product, and you take it at night and you sleep well and you boost your immune system while you're sleeping. Or you have somebody who's this really terrible PMDD. They just don't feel well. They're anxious and they feel terrible for their period. Great, let's give you a little bit of an estrogen detox and let's combine it with some theanine or some GABA or something to calm you down. I'm telling you right now, these products do not exist on the market. They don't, because we make products similar to more of a pharmaceutical mindset where it's one product for one problem. But that's where we're personalizing. You automatically you just are 10 steps ahead of the game because you're making products people cannot find anywhere else. And then you want to throw in a little bit of longevity. You want to give somebody some NMN to help them increase their NAD and their energy production, their mitochondrial energy production. You're a rock star. You're amazing. Like, nobody's doing this. Nobody is doing this. You're probably the only doctor in your city or town that is doing, well, maybe not if you're in a huge, big city, but I'm telling you, each and every one of you are different and you're going to create your own formulas. But when you have your protocols in place, you can personalize. You saw how fast I did it. I did it under a minute. Okay, so the elephant in the room, particularly for people that are new to Vitamin Lab, and this is why I really love having conversations with the practitioners, with you guys, is because you're very honest with me. I'm honest with you. You know, we have real straight up conversations. We have a lot of laughs. It's a good time. And, you know, it comes up like, what if I mess this up? I've never formulated before. Like, really, I depend on the supplement companies to make good products. And I don't know that I can do this, right? Well, yes, you can. And the reason you can is because Vitamin Lab has your back. We are here to help you be successful at this. You do not have to feel, and I do want to speak to this a little bit because, you know, sometimes as a doctor, and even when you work in a team, it can be still quite a lonely profession or lonely. And I'm not saying everybody feels this way, you know, I'm not, but, you know, I certainly found this where there's a lot of pressure on you, and I worked alone, and sometimes it's just not easy because you don't really have somebody to bounce ideas off of all the time, particularly in, I don't know, because we don't have the ground rounds that maybe they have in hospitals and stuff. So we're here to help you because we learn a lot. We learn from you and we learn from customers that have issues and such. And we have a fantastic lab team. Like, it's hard to conceptualize actually how hard it is to make a personalized supplement. Like, I am blown away by our lab team. And we also have a great formulary team, holistic nutritionists, myself included. And we talk about product function and product palatability all day long. And if you make a powdered formula, for example, somebody says, Lydia, I hear you. Yes, my sister or brother. I know, we're all in this together. We truly are. And so we're talking about, like, say, for example, you make a powder and you have a whole bunch of amino acids in there. I'll tell you right now, amino acids are bitter. They are bitter. They taste terrible. We will reach out to you. We'll call you. We will email you and be like, listen, this product is not going to taste very good. Like, we're not just going to put the product into production, have it shipped out to your patient, and your patient tries to mix it into their smoothie and they're gagging and feeling gross in the morning, you know, especially a digestive patient, and you've given them a terrible product. We're not going to have you out there like that. So we will message you about product palatability. And if you have questions of, is this product going to work? Or I don't know what to do with this patient, which is what happened with that, hey, Courtney, we got your back, Courtney. Don't you worry. Yeah, we're all in this together. So yeah, and product function, you know, like, because what happened with that other result, the CNA, it came back with pretty much normal results. And the practitioner, you know, they're a little bit newer at this, and they're like, Lydia, I don't know what to do. You know, this person is paid, you know, a couple $100, and I don't think this is going to help them feel better if I formulate this. And, you know, and I said, you're absolutely right. They're not going to feel better if you do these little borderline ingredients. Nobody's going to feel better with that. Just tell, you know, they need to eat a salad with some healthy protein on it, and they'll probably correct that deficiency. But let's think about something that will actually function for your patient. And once you've made a good product, again, you save it as a protocol. Okay, let's hold on. I'm just going to pop over here for a second because I need you to see this. So once you've got something going on here, you can save it as a protocol. So then you have it. You have it anytime you need it. You don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel. I don't want that for you. Nobody's got time for that. You guys don't have time for that. And okay, here's what to avoid. Okay, and again, this is because we talk to a lot of patients. We know I can see what doesn't do well for people. It's the kitchen sink. This image here. I know you're probably like, what is that image, Lydia? It's the kitchen sink products. Okay, and that's why I'd like you guys to focus on, okay, what's going to move the needle for this patient? Okay, it's an OAN situation. They have anxiety, they have acne, there's something else going on. Fine, I can do 2 things, but I can't do everything. I'm not going to solve the world's problems with one formula. I'm not going to help them get along with their mother-in-law and solve their toenail fungus and get them into the law school that they want to go to with one product. Okay, that doesn't happen. But you can help them with their chief concern. You can help them with the secondary concern, but do not try to jam everything into one product and have it be a 9 capsule a day thing, because they can't digest it. The nutrients are going to get just diluted and lost and not absorbed. And I would even argue, you know, I think about energetics, like it's even energetically kind of draining on the body to be absorbing like a 9 ingredient formula. That's just not really natural. So don't do the kitchen sink thing. You don't have to solve everybody's problems in one shot. Like, the patient will evolve with you over time, which is what's also amazing about personalizing. After the 90 days is up, okay, they come in, you reassess, maybe you tweak things, maybe you up the dose of ashwagandha, or maybe, okay, their digestion feels a lot better. Okay, maybe we can pull back on some of the marshmallow root. And instead, let's really focus on your parasympathetic nervous system. We will evolve over time, and that builds that loyalty, builds that trust. You know, you're their go-to person. They love you. You're their favorite doctor, their favorite nurse, favorite physician assistant. They're never leaving you. Even if they move out of state, they'll probably drive 8 hours just to see you. Because again and again, we have your back. Okay, so never feel like you're out there on your own. You don't know, if you don't know certain herbs, I don't know what astragalus does, but I'm curious. I'm not sure about passion flower. Does it work with lemon balm? Well, yes, it does. But you know, we're here to help you. Okay, so let's talk about delightful prescribing and how to amaze your patients and build your brand. Okay, so again, I really want you guys to think about what protocols, and it doesn't have to be 6, it could be literally 3 or 4. But again, you have your mitochondrial support. It's there, it's locked and loaded for you. You have your parasympathetic nervous system support. Okay, Lord knows we all have patients that need this. We probably need it too. You make something for yourself. All right. I probably need this. I don't even sleep after these webinars. I get so hyped up over here. You have your thyroid and adrenals. Like, come on. There's so many patients that have subclinical hypothyroidism. There's so many patients that have inappropriate cortisol secretions. And then you have your digestive health. Like, who doesn't need this? Probably everybody needs a little dose of this, right? And then you just mix and match. So you have your digestion, you mix it with this. Okay, fine. You have somebody who's aging kind of rapidly. They feel old, their joints are creaky, you know, their skin's losing elasticity. Fine, we'll do some mitochondrial support. Maybe we'll add a little collagen. You know what? Let's also at the same time make sure that your sympathetic nervous system isn't off the rails. Okay, let's mix these 2 things together. You look like a rock star. You create products that they can't find anywhere else. Okay, and what I do every single time I do one of these presentations, I open up my browser and I search on Amazon, and every single time I get a hot mess of results. Okay, so I just typed in stress and digestion supplement. Look at what I got. I got some ashwagandha with black pepper. Like, is that even a thing? Like, do we need black pepper with ashwagandha? Like, I don't even know. Like, is that a thing? I know we need it with turmeric, but like, because all of these companies try to make themselves look so cool and different, and like they're so special. Like this one on the label here, you can't see it. It says 500,000 bottles sold. Well, okay. Like, if you're a patient, imagine, like, if we're confused, imagine your patient sitting here, stomach upset with GERD or with gas and bloating, and they're trying to figure out what to take, and they look at this product. Oh, well, this one's $65, but what about this one? Like, this one's $12. Oh, I think I need a digestive enzyme. Maybe I do, or maybe I need betaine HCl to increase my stomach acid. Oh, maybe I need a probiotic. I've heard probiotics are good. And okay, I'm stressed. Like, well, I've heard magnesium's good for stress. And well, this one over here, the rhodiola over here, well, this one says healthy digestion too. Maybe I need this one. Like, what a mess this is. What a mess. Like, what's your patient supposed to do with this? Like, it's a disaster. So the shopping experience is not good. We do not want our patients ending up on Amazon, because they just end up confused. They end up going either based on price, or maybe delivery time, or maybe they want the highest price item because they think it's the best, or they look at reviews. This one's 4 stars. This one's 4.5. Who the heck knows what to get? Who knows what to get? Like, and you see how everything's separated out? you see how there's a probiotic over here and betaine HCl over here, and then there's magnesium over here, and so what? Your patient's supposed to buy an enzyme over here, and they're supposed to buy 4 different things, totaling up to however many hundreds of dollars, and then this one's 90 days, and this one's 28 capsules. Like, who the heck makes a supplement that's 28 capsules? I've never even heard of that before. Like, we're in a leap year right now. There's 29 days. So what? I'm not going to take a probiotic today because it's a leap year? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. Look at what a mess. This one's going to run out, and you're going to have more of these, and your patient's going to end up, it's just a mess. So this is why we prescribe and we tell our patients very confidently, I'm going to make something for you. You're going to sit tight and you're going to wait. And I understand it's hard to wait, but you probably haven't felt well for the past 6 months, 6 years, 60 years, who knows? You're going to wait, and you are going to get something delivered to you in the mail, and it is going to be from me to you, for you. And I've designed it specifically for you. Do not even go on Amazon, buy your Swiffer dusters on Amazon, or your dish soap, or your bubbly sparkling water or something like that, but do not buy your supplements on Amazon, because it's going to be confusing for you, and you're going to end up purchasing the wrong thing and wasting your money. Right way to launch with Vitamin Lab. You're going to onboard. Most of you probably met with Sarah or Christina. You're going to have, and then you have account managers. Okay, so you have myself or you have Carolina. We're both experienced in our own different ways. Carolina's worked for the company for like 4 or 5 years. She really knows accounts. We really get to know you guys. We really care about you guys. Every time I speak to you, I always look at your website. We follow you on Instagram. You know, I know about your kids. I know about you're going through a divorce. I was talking to a doctor last week. She's going through a divorce. Like, we talk about things. I'm interested in you. I care about you as a person, as a practitioner. We've got you covered. We want you to be successful. So yeah, and then even when you're getting started, just aim for like 1 a week. Aim for 1 OAND a patient a week. And if you use the micronutrient testing, great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would challenge you to get your protocol sorted out so that when you have a patient where quote unquote everything is normal, you don't have a patient that's come in, oh my gosh. I don't even know what doctors do when they don't have Vitamin Lab and they get one of these reports. So you get this report, and what are you going to do? Give your patient a multivitamin? Oh my goodness. Please do not have your patients coming in and paying anywhere from $200 to $600 for a test, and at the end of it all, they get a multivitamin. Absolutely not. Okay, that's not what people are paying us for. They can go to the Walgreens down the street and get themselves a multivitamin. They don't need you. They're not paying us the big bucks to tell them to take a multivitamin. Okay, not on my watch. Okay, so sorry, I'm very passionate about this. So if you do a custom micronutrient thing for them, and they have a lot in the red, and you want to do targeted nutrients, more power to you. That makes sense. If it comes back borderline, you're not going to be stuttering and not knowing what to say and feeling like, oh no, did I waste money on the test? No, you're going to affirm them and be like, listen, your body's actually not doing that bad. Okay, but you're not feeling well. And I get that. I hear you. And you know what? You are having a natural reaction to a very unnatural environment. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay, you are quote unquote actually quite logical, reasonable. Your body is having a reasonable response to a very stressful environment that seems to be only getting worse. So let's help you interface with your environment in a more healthy and empowered way. So whether it's anti-aging, digestion, sleep, the list goes on, but you're going to have, every practice is going to be a little different, but probably as I'm talking, you're probably thinking, yeah, you know what, I can probably think of 4 or 5 things off the top of my head, bang, 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 that I know that I would use probably with 6 patients a week at least. So these are really this is really the tipping point. Like, get into the Vitamin Lab family. When I call you, let's have a chat. Let's have a meeting of the minds, and let's make sure you're set up with protocols. And again, you can use our protocols. There's nothing wrong with that. We've put thought into our protocols. But if you want to have your own unique things, make your own unique things. That's awesome. You can do that. And all you have to do is make it once. Spend 45 minutes and come up with your protocols. And then each time you go in, it's going to be second nature. You just mix and match, and you have really unique products. You always have your back. Never forget that. Feb webinar 15% off, baby. You get 15% off on your next wholesale order. Okay. So this is for wholesales. Yeah. If you have any questions, please pop it in the chat. And yeah, it's really, I love talking to you guys, because I'm so passionate about this topic, and I'm so excited for us to be on the forefront of just making our own things, making our own lane. it's just, yeah, it's just very, very cool. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and never be shy to reach out if you want to pick up the phone, if you get results back and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this, or you want help making protocols, we're here for you. But I hope what I said tonight really resonates with you. And I hope you always feel like you're supported with Vitamin Lab. And yeah, so please, well, we will follow up with an email so that you have this code. But yeah, have 15% off on your next order. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been my absolute pleasure. I'll be back next month, and we'll talk about a new case or a new bit of drama that came up this month. So, you know, talking to you guys, I always get ideas. So yeah, again, if there's something, okay, let's talk about this muscle tester. Now I'm building a virtual practice. How do I dose, especially for those who are showing an increased need in their DNA testing? Well, you know what, we'd always give you, I'll pop over to into this. Okay, so we'll always give you, okay, let's just go to like general, like vitamins. So we'll always give you a recommended dose. Okay, and this is the dose that is not necessarily just the RDA, the recommended dietary allowance, which tends to just be something that corrects in the case of deficiency. So your RDA is what is going to provide an amount of nutrient that will serve 98% of the population, 98.5% of the population, okay? But at Vitamin Lab, we're really looking at optimizing. That's what functional medicine doctors and practitioners do. We're not just there to correct for deficiency. So you can always use this dose as a standard dose. And then we always give a range too, as to what has come back like in the literature. And so this would be kind of a real max range, like that's quite a real high dose. But if you're like, you can got to see, like if you wanted something a little bit higher, you could double it, like folate. There is a bit of, I don't know if it's real memorization, but there is a bit of practice to it. So again, if you have a specific case, you know, but you can talk to me about it, because, you know, every bit of DNA testing is a little bit different. The other thing with DNA testing that I find is keeping track of, and I'm not actually sure how the DNA practitioners do this, but also keeping track of epigenetics, because just because you have a gene doesn't mean it's turned on, right? So I really like it when our DNA testing doctors are correlating with people's results. I think it's really important. You always want to treat the patient, not just the result, which I'm sure you're doing, Margaret. I'm not implying that you're not doing that. But I have seen some DNA testing that's not really with our practitioners, but I've seen it happen before where they're really just treating the result and without much mind to what the patient is actually experiencing. So, you know, keeping those symptoms in mind, I think, is quite important. But, you know, you can always, like, let's say with vitamin D, like this would be 1,000 micrograms. You know, you want to do a little higher dose, you could double that or even triple it. Yeah. So, but if you have a specific DNA test, because I do help some of our DNA doctors formulate, because my goodness, have you guys seen a DNA result? They are like 100 pages. A doctor sent me a report. It was like 92 pages. I was like, bro, this is a really long report. Like, I do not have all day, but I kind of found the like key portion of the results, but they certainly do not make it easy. Some of these DNA tests, they're quite in depth and quite detailed. So I can totally understand, Margaret, if you look at some of those reports and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, you know? So yeah, but I'm happy to go through it with you. But yay, that's exciting. Muscle testing is very, very cool as well. Yeah. So you're going from kind of an energetic testing method and now diving into the DNA, which is awesome. I love that. I love that we're always evolving too. Like, I always learn something from you guys. There's always like new tests coming down the pipeline, or, you know, like, yeah, I'm always learning new things. Like, there was just a study coming out, I just saw it yesterday, that elevated niacin has been linked to a byproduct of elevated niacin has been linked to cardiovascular disease. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, this is something that we need to be thinking about, right? Because we don't want to be high dosing niacin for extended periods of time and not being mindful of the cardiovascular impact. So it's really nice when we come together. I've kind of been thinking if we need to start a journal club or some sort of like Vitamin Lab club where we like talk about the studies that we're reading and just like what's coming up, what we're learning about, because I feel like there's so much information to kind of sift through and aggregate, and it'd be really nice to just all come together. And I love learning from you guys too. I always learn new things. So yeah, always have juicy conversations. It's really good. The other day I was talking about ketamine for resistant depression and PTSD. And I was like, oh, wow, that was such with a psychiatrist. And it was such an interesting talk about the use of, well, ketamine's not technically a psychedelic. I think I don't know what it's kind of a tranquilizer, I think, but you do trip on it. I think you have some hallucinations, but just thinking about even the potential of like psilocybin and MDMA for PTSD and resistant depression and suicidality, suicidal thoughts and such. So it's so interesting. I just always appreciate when I have conversations with you guys. You're truly such a cool bunch. So thanks very much for coming to the webinar.